Is the amount of growth on your investment, is that important? Is the interest rates really that important? Well, I think it'll be pretty astounding, the things that we'll talk about today. I think all of us need to save. The Bible teaches that. We're not trying to grow rich. No, if that's your goal, that's the wrong goal. But we do want to be good stewards of what we have, and we want to be wise in how we use the funds that come our way. And I want to help you understand a little bit about interest rates and growth. It's really a big deal. I began saving as a boy. I got my first little job, 12 years old, and I began saving for different things. I began tithing. When Renee and I got married, I actually had a fair amount of money in the bank. Got married at age 19, but for 7 years I'd been working and I'd been saving. And children that are living with their parents, oh, you can save half of what you earn, maybe even slightly more than that. If you're 18, 19, 20 year old and 20 years old and you're with your parents, save so that when you get married, you're able to buy a house and be able to buy some furniture. You know, your family's going to want some furniture. You're going to like having some furniture. And so save. I'm encouraging that. But let's talk today about growth and interest. Now, let's suppose we've got someone watching who's 20 years old, and they're going to save their whole life to age 65. They're going to really work from age 20 to age 65 to save for their later years. And let's suppose they're going to start saving $100 every single month. Well, that'd be good. That'd be a good thing. And let's say they just put it in a plain old money market. And I'm going to put down current rates. In fact, this would be a pretty good current rate, 5% interest. My current money that's in my money market, it's getting 0.3% interest. But for this example, let's say a 0.5% interest. That's pretty good. Well, what are the results? If you went all life long from age 20 all the way to age 65, you put the $100 in every single month into that money market from age 20 to 65, all that money. How much money will you have contributed? Well, you'll have contributed $54,000. You know, you just stay with it and $100 every single month and have it automatically put in there. It adds up. $54,000, a lot of money. And from age 20 to age 65, $54,000, $100 a month. How much is that going to grow during that time? That 0.5% interest, I mean, that is some interest. The growth on that, you see that? $6,543. So what's the net result? The final total, $60,000, $543. Well, very good. That's at a 0.5%. And I do have a money market. I have my contingency fund just sitting there in a money market. I'm not putting money in my contingency fund every month. I'm not doing that. It's just sitting there. It's parked. And it's making that little tiny, mine's making 0.3%. In our example, 0.5%. Well, what if you could buy some of these CDs, Certificate of Deposit? Now, these will have, a 12-month CD, 24-month, 54-month. You can buy them for different periods of time, and they give you a little more interest, generally speaking, than what just a passbook savings would do, or even a money market would do for you. So let's say in this that you were able to get a CD that would give 2%. And let's say they would sell them to you in $100 increments. If you can find some vehicle, CDs, certificate of deposits, or some vehicle that would give you 2% growth, how does that work out? How much money will you have if you did that $100 every single month? How's that going to work out? Well, you'd still, again, put in $54,000. You see what the growth is? $33,465. Wow, that's a lot better. The net result is $87,000. Wow, that's a lot better than just the money market. It's $60,000. This now is $87,000, and you've just changed vehicles. Now, CDs, if you break them, you're probably going to pay a little penalty. So you don't want to buy a CD and then try to get your money directly out of it 10 days later. You're probably going to pay a penalty. This is money that you're going to park for an extended period of time. Renee and I have a little bit of money in CDs. They make a little bit of interest. Ours, I think 2.8% is what we've got. It's making not much. That's not bad, but that's not much. But I want to encourage you to consider this. I think long range, for the course of your life from age 20 to age 65, you ought to consider this. And this is what I have done. Especially from age 30 on, I've done this. But invest $100 a month. Now, at age 30, I couldn't invest $100 a month. We had just launched out into evangelism, and I could not do that much. In fact, I did very little. I did force myself to put a few dollars in every single month into investments. A few dollars was all I could do. I was really straining to pay all of our bills. My wife and I and our children. It's expensive. And as an evangelist, travel expenses are very high. And so I've told you in other videos, I've tried to find streams of income to make things work. But at age 30, I was not doing $100 a month. I couldn't. But I was doing something every month. But right now, let's just say that you could do $100 every single month, and let's say you put them in mutual funds. What are mutual funds? By and large, what we're talking about is a group of different stocks that are professionally managed. You put your $100 in, and then the stock manager, he's going to invest in things that are going to have reliable returns as best as we know how. The stock market goes up and down, but mutual funds, where they're not as risky as individual stocks. Renee and I have a little bit of money in some individual stocks, not much. We're very careful with that. Mostly we have it in mutual funds, and then we've got a little bit in what's called ETFs. And sometime I hope to explain in more detail what mutual funds are and what ETFs are. Okay, but right now we're talking about interest and we're talking about growth. Our very first example, we just had plain old money market, 0.5%. You saw what the net result. Then the next example, CDs, 2%. If you can find that, you may not even be able to find a 2% return. All right, mutual funds over the course of your life. 20 years to age 65, investing $100 a month. Mutual funds, the last several years in our mutual funds, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we made 19%. 2 years ago, made almost 12%. Last year, 11%. So the number I'm giving you here is actually lower than what we've made the last 3 years. Now, we're in a bull market. By and large, we've been in a bull market for over 10 years. Not a bear market, a bull market. That's an up market. The bull market, the bull with those horns and throwing things up is sort of how that bull market came to use that expression. But let's say from age 20 to age 65, it averages 8%. I think that's not embellishing. I think that's reasonable. Basically, any 45-year period that you look at the stock market, it's been up 8%. There's ups and downs, and sometimes it goes way up, and then sometimes it does crash. It does. It never goes down to nothing. I had someone recently say, we lost all of our money in the stock market. Not true. No, you didn't lose all of it. Well, we lost half of it. Okay, you may have lost half of it, but you still had half. And if you'd have stayed in, and most of us did stay in, it all came back. The market comes back. That's generally the way it works. So 8%, $100 a month, Mutual funds, 8%. I'm excited about these numbers. These are so much better numbers than these other examples. I think you ought to have, that money market for your contingency fund. I think you ought to have a little bit of CDs for stability. But I think you ought to consider investing in mutual funds. Now, real estate's another really good investment. But right now, I want you to think about investing in mutual funds. What are the results? All right, you contribute $54,000. Look at the growth. When it's 8%, look at the growth. $473,000 in growth. You've contributed the same amount into your savings. The contributions have been exactly the same. It's this growth number that was different. The total, $527,000. If you'll invest wisely, not by caprice, not at a whim, but if you'll be very reasonable and disciplined and let God lead you, always let God lead you in this. Please do not take my word on these things. Do some research. I'm trying to help you start thinking. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a professional. I'm not trying to sell you any products. I'm trying to help you think, especially my young friends. I want you to think on how to invest so that later on in your life, you're able to give in a big way to the cause of Christ and to noble and good things. Have you heard of people giving $100,000, giving $500,000? I've got a friend who loved his city, and he was a multi-millionaire. He had done very good in business. He gave a lot of money just to his city to improve some things in his city because he loved his city. He had invested and worked hard, and God blesses that. So I want you to contemplate and study and think on what you need to do with your investments. Interest rates and growth rates really matter. Subscribe if you wish. Give a like if this has been helpful to you. May God bless.